you have to ask yourself, is this an emotional decision based on something I desperately want so bad? Or is this truly a good inner voice saying, hey, this is a good idea? Sitting with things and asking really works.
This is The Entrepreneur Way with Neil Ball. Unlocking the secrets of successful entrepreneurs 7 days a week. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Twitter at Neil D. Ball. Napoleon Hill said the power of the mastermind is the driving force. To discover how you can unlock the potential in your business using the power of a mastermind, go to mastermindunlimited.com. And now, here is your host, Neil Ball.
Hello, it's Neil Ball here. Thank you so much for joining me today on The Entrepreneur Way. The Entrepreneur Way is about the entrepreneur's journey, the vision, the mindset, the commitment, the sacrifice, failures, and successes. I am so excited to bring you our special guest today, Kathy Gruver. But before I introduce you to her, I have a little quote for you. Robert Half said, asking the right questions takes as much skill as giving the right answers. The Entrepreneur Way asks the questions so we all get the insights, inspiration and ideas to apply in our businesses. Kathy, welcome to the show. Are you ready to share your version of the Entrepreneur Way with us?
I am. Thanks for having me, Neil. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on here. Kathy Gruver PhD has an award-winning medical massage and hypnotherapy practice. She is the author of 5 award-winning books, including 2 on stress, and has lectured all around the world on health and wellness issues. She is a frequent guest on radio and TV and also provides stress and wellness programs for corporations. Kathy, can you provide us with some more insight into your business and personal life to allow us to get to know more about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. I started doing massage very accidentally. It was never a career I set out to have. I was actually an actor. I was a theater major in school and thought that would be my path. And I found that over the years, I just sort of followed breadcrumbs and ended up in a completely different world than I ever thought I'd be in. So I started doing massage back in college, and I thought, what a great sideline. You know, I could do that when I'm pursuing the acting gigs. And little did I know, about 10 years later, it actually became the primary focus of my life, and the acting sort of faded away, except when I'm on stage, you know, speaking or doing radio and TV. And so from the massage, I realized that clients were really looking to me as a health practitioner. They didn't just want a massage. They wanted full care. So I started studying more and more. I got my master's and PhD, and then I wanted to reach more people. So I started writing and started doing more interviews. And I recently added hypnotherapy to my practice because to me that was a beautiful addition to what I was already doing. And in the words of my father, of having something to fall back on, you know, someday my body's not going to let me do 30 hours of massage a week. So to me, hypnotherapy was a beautiful replacement for that when I get to that point. So it's been an incredible journey, and I love learning things. I love the business aspect of what I do. There are so many people that are phenomenal healers, but not really great business people. So I love that aspect of it. I love talking about that aspect of it, and that's why I'm excited about your show, is to get to share my views on business as well as the healing aspect of it.
So, Kathy, what do you enjoy most about what you do?
It's the helping people. I mean, I know that sounds so cliche, but, you know, I have clients that walk into my office in pain. They're having muscle issues. They've had an injury. They just had surgery, and they walk out feeling better. That to me is the most exciting thing. And there's very few businesses where you can serve people like that and also really make a good living. And I'm very lucky that I found the combination. I made that choice to find the combination of things that truly are making people feel better. And, you know, also I get to make money at what I love doing. And I had somebody tell me the other day how lucky I was that there's so many professions. You know, you go to the dentist. Nobody wants to go to the dentist. You know, you have to, but no one really wants to go. People love seeing me because they feel good. You know, massage is such a great tool for enhancing your health. So I'm very lucky in that I have people that are excited to see me every day. And I get to help them, and I get to make a living at it. So, you know, I can't complain about any of that. It's fabulous.
Yeah, I suppose you've got direct contact with people in the sense that you see see the results, don't you?
Yeah.
And you see how
sometimes immediately, which is really great. I had a woman that's had chronic shoulder problems, and I really worked her over. I thought, oh man, she's gonna be sore later. And about an hour later, I got a text message that said, all my pain is gone. I feel so fabulous. I knew you could do it. It's like, wow, what a great, very few people get that in their daily life, that type of immediate feedback. So yeah, I was really excited about that.
Yeah, that's great. And what is it that drives you, Kathy?
Oh, me. I'm really type A. I'm like, my husband says I'm type A+++. Yeah. To me, I want to learn more. I want to provide more for my clients. I want to provide more for my readers and the listeners. And, so I'm constantly looking for new techniques to add or new things to do. I just came back from a 3-day silent meditation retreat because I wanted to know what that was like, so it was sort of me shutting off, but it was also me learning new meditation techniques, learning new physical techniques that I can then share with my clients, with my readers. So it's me. I'm a very driven person. I don't know where it came from. I think I shot out of the womb that way and was just ready to do, okay, we're done with that. What's the next thing? It could be a detriment to that. I get a little carried away with tasks sometimes. But to me, it's just that want to help people and that want to learn more that really just gets me going, really moves me to the next thing.
So have you ever thought about digging deeper into the why behind that? Because obviously that's what you do, isn't it? You're driving yourself to do all these things, but there must be a why behind it. What's your why?
Yeah, I've had people suggest various things. I was an only child, and I was raised very much as an adult. I had trouble relating to other kids because I was constantly around adults. So I think that's part of it. I think I was so used to being in that kind of driven adult world that I just was like that. But I really do. I was like that even as a little kid. I was in 5 dance classes a week, and I was in every school play, and I was doing the advanced classes, and that was just sort of my MO with stuff like that. I don't think I'm proving things to other people. That's been suggested to me. I think there's just a lot I want to do. I want to experience everything. It's like I want to try new things and I want to try different things. And so to me, that's a big drive of just having the experience on this planet of getting to see and do different things. I think that's a big drive for me. I don't know the why behind it, but I enjoy it. So I'm not going to argue with it right now.
Okay, that's good. And how do you relax when you're not driving for all these things that you want to achieve?
I still dance. I dance 3 or 4 days a week. I do flying trapeze, which most people are going, that doesn't sound relaxing. I stand on a little platform 30 feet in the air, and I hold onto a bar and I fly around and do tricks and get caught. And that's one of the most relaxing things that I do, which is really kind of counterintuitive, but it works for me. And I do meditate every day. That's a newer thing for me. But the daily meditation really has made a huge difference in my focus and my balance. People are even saying that I look different. Did you just wake up from a nap? You look so relaxed. I'm like, no, I've been meditating. It's taken me a long time to get to the point where I can do it and where I want to do it, but I'm really seeing the benefits. I really am. It's been pretty remarkable.
Doing trapeze work, that's quite unusual. How do you find somewhere to do that?
I don't believe in bucket lists. To me, it's like, if you want to do something, I think you should go do it. I have a girlfriend that's consistently saying, I want to go do a hot air balloon. And I'm thinking, well, then go do a hot air balloon. It's not that out of the realm. It doesn't cost millions of dollars. It's not time off work. Well, then go do it. Because how often are you going to say, I want to, and then you get to the end of your life and you realize you didn't? And I have done so many things, spelunking and rappelling and ziplining, and my husband and I scuba dive, and we've been swimming with sharks and swimming with dolphins. And I had a client ask, geez, you've done so much. Is there anything left on your bucket list? And I said, I don't believe in a bucket list. I said, but one thing I've always wanted to try is flying trapeze. And as the words came out of my mouth, I thought, oh, geez, I better get on that. So she's literally changing her clothes, and I'm on the computer trying to find a place near me to do flying trapeze. And a couple weeks later, I drove down to Los Angeles. I'm about an hour and a half north of there. And I did flying trapeze for the first time. And I was completely hooked. And so I've been flying for years now, and I've done dozens of tricks and gone through a couple injuries, coming off one right now. But to me, it's a mindfulness practice. it's kind of a parallel for life. You stand up on this little platform and you jump, you go for it. You go for that step in your business. You go for that task that you need to do, and you hope someone's there to catch you. But if there's not, there's a net to cushion you. So, to me, it's this big parallel for life and business of taking those risks, taking those calculated risks and really going for it.
So it's about stepping over the line, isn't it, really, like in business? And do you have any entrepreneurial role models, Kathy?
People ask me all the time about mentors and who inspired me. And, my dad was a small business owner. So as a kid, I observed him running a business and seeing the challenges with that and the ups and downs. It was just a little paint store, a little neighborhood paint store. But that was, I did observe that growing up. I also had a couple clients when I was starting out who are very successful business people. And because my field, it's unusual to find someone who's a massage therapist who really is into business. Usually they just kind of, they hang up a shingle, if that. They work out of their home. They go to other people's houses. They don't really look at it as a business the way I do. It was hard to find someone in the health field who was a role model for me, but I was very lucky to have these two clients who were incredibly good at business, and they loved to talk about it. So during their massage, we'd talk for part of it about my challenges and my fears and my struggles and business things. I ran a lot of stuff by these two men, and I was so happy to have them. They're still clients of mine too. They've been clients for almost 15 years now. But yeah, beautiful to be able to bounce ideas off someone, So, nobody big in the outside world that I looked to, but, definitely my dad was an influence in that. And then these couple clients with their advice and their support was completely invaluable to me.
Okay. Thanks for sharing that. Kathy, I'd like to just find out a little bit more about the time before you were an entrepreneur. So you were an actress, and then you obviously went into the business that you've got here now. So can you tell us what difficulties you had to overcome when you started your business?
Oh, yeah, it was completely uncharted territory. And because, again, I was trying to expand in a field where people weren't really doing it. There weren't a lot of massage therapists advertising. The yellow pages, even though, it had been decades old by that point, they weren't really utilizing advertising methods. So I was kind of lost. I didn't have anybody to ask questions of. Except these two clients who weren't in that field. They could give me general business advice, but from hey, what do I do with this massage business? I really felt lost. So there was a lot of throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what stuck. I did a lot of really stupid advertising things when I was starting out, things that failed miserably. It's like, I'm going to put an ad on a park bench during a golf tournament. And things that I just thought, well, I got to try it because no one told me if it would or wouldn't work. So I probably wasted so much money just trying everything. I was desperate to get my name out there. It worked on some level because my business took off really quickly, but I wish I would have had someone to bounce those specific massage ideas off of. And it was just, trying to juggle everything because when you're starting out in business and you have to be there to answer the phone and you have to take those clients and you have to take those calls because if you don't, they'll move down the list and call the next person. So I did not have a lot of time off. I was working evenings. I was working weekends. I remember, my husband and I out for the afternoon wine tasting and me huddled in a parking lot with my finger in my ear trying to talk to this person on the phone to book a massage because I needed to. I needed that money. I needed those clients. So it was really time consuming and it was all consuming. I actually, for a while, I had other therapists that worked for me. I got so busy so fast that I brought in 4 or 5 other therapists and several of them said, I want to do just what you do and I want to run my own business. And about 3 weeks later, they came to me and went, I don't want to do what you do. It's way too much work. And I said, I know. It was just really, and then billing and then doing the laundry and then keeping track of the taxes and driving all over the place because I didn't have an office yet. So I was also going from house to house, which was exhausting. It was really just a challenge to juggle everything. I'm still juggling a lot of stuff, but now it's different juggling. But yeah, it was just trying to figure out the path and then keeping it all straight was really just 2 of the biggest challenges.
Quite a few of the people I talked to on the show have talked about how they draw from people from other industries. So it's sometimes a good thing to get perspectives from other people, I think, like that. And sometimes it's good to have ignorance in what you do, I think, sometimes as well, because not knowing what the rules are sometimes means that you do things differently, so that you actually define your own rules rather than thinking there's just a fixed way of doing it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, exactly. And to that point, there was a gentleman in town that started a business called the Access Book. Yeah. And it's this kind of, you get a little, almost like credit card looking thing, and you stamp different numbers for each business. And it was, like buy one entree, get one free, or, buy an appetizer, get a free drink. And I went to him and I said, I'd like to put an ad in for my massage practice. And he said, oh, well, we don't have any massage practices in there. And I said, yeah, I know. And they had car washes and they had golf courses and they had, free tire rotation. They didn't have any spas. They didn't have any massage people or chiropractors or that sort of thing. And I was literally the first person in his book to advertise a massage practice because I thought out of the box on that. And I thought, well, if you can buy one entree, get one free, why can't you get 10% off your massage? And he loved the idea, and we ended up becoming pretty good friends over it too. But now I'm not in that book anymore because I don't have to be. But now you look and there's 30 spas and 30 chiropractors, and and I think that I started that. I was the one that got him out of his limited thinking, and he said, well, yeah, why can't we put you in there? So that's kind of exciting. So I was really trying different things to see what would work, and like I said, some did and some didn't, and but yeah, definitely kind of thinking outside of what you already know is definitely useful. Yeah.
And did you have any doubts that delayed you starting your business?
Yeah, I kind of hemmed and hawed at first, and I just stuck a toe in. So I was still working at a lot of other spas and a lot of hotels and a lot of, I put a resume out to whoever I thought would give me on-call work every once in a while. And then as I slowly started building up my practice, which ended up happening very quickly, those fell away. So I did have that sort of safety net of, I can always go work at such and such spa today if I don't have enough clients. It was maybe a 4 to 6 month transition where it really went from other people's work to my work. It happened pretty quickly, but I did have a little bit of a transition time there. So I took an easy road. I didn't just stop everything and start my own practice. That was too scary. That was too unstable. So I eased into it, but I was working at a physical therapy office full time. And one day I said, I'm done. I'm starting my own practice. Ethically, they had some issues, and I knew when it was time to go. I just, that urge of, okay, I'm done. And I quit that day. So in that way, I did sort of jump in, but I had a little bit of safety net of working for, part-time on call for other people as well.
And what mistakes did you make that slowed your journey?
I didn't outsource things. With every massage I do, there's a whole set of sheets that go along with that. Of course, we change the sheets in between every client. And I found that I had bought a couple sets of sheets and I was trying to launder them all at home. Well, as my business increased, I still was trying to have the same 5 sets of sheets and launder them at home. And there was one day I got a call for a massage and I couldn't take it because I didn't have any sheets. And I thought, well, what business am I in? Am I in the laundry business or am I in the massage business? And I immediately went to the store. I bought 5 or 10 more sets of sheets and I got a laundry service. So that was the start of me realizing I need help. And it's okay to outsource those things. And yes, it cost me a little bit of money, but I had just lost a client because I didn't have any sheets. That was really ridiculous. It was one of those things where I thought, where's your focus? So that was a great lesson for me early on of it's okay to outsource things. It's okay to ask for help. I've had an office assistant for years now who run my sheets back and forth, who goes and picks up my mail, who changes out my CD every week. And I had one client say, oh, geez, you can't change your own CD. You're that busy. And I said, no, I can't change my own CD. I said, because in the amount of time it takes me to do all this stuff around here, it's not just changing a CD. I said, that's time I'm not researching your condition. I'm not calling you back to get you on the books. I said, I would rather have someone else do that stuff and give someone a job than not waste my time, but use my time in that way. So to me, outsourcing and bringing in people to help was just a key lesson that I learned. Probably not soon enough, but I got there eventually.
Yeah. You just made me think of a quote from Jim Rohn where he said, make sure you major on the majors rather than majoring on the minors. And that's very much what you're talking about there, really, isn't it? Don't get bogged down with the stuff that's stopping you from doing the proper stuff, the stuff that you need to be doing to drive your business.
Yep, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And so what are some of the things that you did before you started your business that'd be helpful tips to some of the listeners who haven't yet taken the first step on the entrepreneur way?
Yeah, I'm a big list maker. I love writing things down. I think having that roadmap to what your goal is so important. And I actually did an exercise over the weekend that was very similar to something I did 15, 16 years ago when I started this, was take 3 minutes and write down 10 goals. Write them down, rapid fire, whether it's I'm going to lose 10 pounds or I want this amount of money in my savings account or I need to do this, this, and this in my business. Write them down and then look at them and say, okay, what's my top goal? What one goal is going to lead maybe to some of the other ones? And break that down further. I think whether it's writing a book or starting a business, it can be so overwhelming because it's such a huge task. But it's not one huge task. You're not sitting down to write a book. You're sitting down to write a paragraph. You're sitting down to write a sentence. And I think people get so overwhelmed in looking at this huge thing, they don't think to break it down into smaller, easily chewable bits. So I think that's the biggest thing I did is I actually wrote down goals. I had a life roadmap, and I wrote down where I wanted my office and how many clients I expected to see and that I expected to have my car paid off. And, writing that stuff down really solidifies it in your subconscious and really does help you reach those goals. So to me, you've got to have a map. You could have a formal business plan. I never did that. It didn't really work for my business, but writing stuff down to me was one of the key components to it. I just think you have to. That's so important. And then again, breaking it down into smaller steps.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for that advice. Kathy, can we now talk about your entrepreneurial journey a little bit? And can you tell us, do you think culture is important from the beginning in a business?
Do I think culture is important?
Yeah. In terms of the culture that you create within your business.
Oh, yeah. Sort of the mood and the theme and what you portray to other people.
Yeah.
I do. I think that's so important. How you define yourself is how people are going to view you. And that was a struggle when I started my business because I wasn't sure who I was yet in the business. I just thought, I do massage. Okay, well, what kind of massage? Oh, I have to define that? That's like someone saying, I make food. Okay, what kind of food? You can't have a restaurant and just have food. You have to decide what kind of food you want to have and who your target audience is, and what that looks like to other people. So I think it's incredibly important, and that's reflected in the staff you bring in. That's reflected in the decor in your office, what your letterhead looks like, what your business card looks like, what your headshot looks like. And when I talk to other practitioners about marketing and social media and stuff like that, what does your picture look like? Especially if you're in a field like myself where you're having this intimate personal relationship with someone, frankly, whether you're a financial planner or a banker or a real estate person, you want to put your best foot forward, but you also want to have a face of that business. And it comes down to having a good picture sometimes. I need to know, people need to know they can trust me, and that's portrayed in my photo. So I think definitely the culture of your business and how you put yourself out there, I think that's vastly important. And I think a lot of people overlook that in various ways.
Yeah. Knowing what you know now, is there anything that if you'd known it when you started out would have helped you to shortcut the learning curve?
Yeah, I think a little more bravery would have been good. I think I did have some fears about getting an office for the first time. Yeah. I remember being very, very scared about that because, it's one thing when you're driving around from house to house, there's no overhead. When I now have rent, that put a lot of pressure on to make sure I had those clients. That was a really scary step for me. And I think just organizing my notes and things like that a little bit better. I did not keep very good track of things that I now wish I would have, like email addresses and client birthdays and client preferences. I thought, I only have 10 clients. I can remember that. Yeah, well, now, 16 years later, how many have I had? That's a lot of clients. And it just became overwhelming and my poor little brain got full. So I wish I would have written more things down and kept better records because we can't remember everything. So I think definitely taking better notes would have been good for me.
And you've obviously got a bit braver now you're doing the trapeze work as well, aren't you?
Yes, see, had I started with that.
And how much does gut feeling influence your decisions in your business?
Oh, so much. So much. I think we need to listen to them more. That women's intuition, we now have so many women in business, and I think a lot of it is led from that aspect by intuition and by that gut feeling. You guys have it too, but you tend to not listen to it as much as women, in my experience. Yeah. Not to blanket statement. But yeah, I think sometimes you have to just sit on something and wait and say, is this a good idea? I just signed with a new publicist, and the email that she sent me really felt good to me. And then I met her in person, and within 2 minutes of talking to her, I knew I wanted her on my team. I just knew. I didn't care what else she said. I knew that was a good fit. I'm usually right with things like that. Not to say I haven't made mistakes. But you have to ask yourself, is this an emotional decision based on something I desperately want so bad? Or is this truly a good inner voice saying, hey, this is a good idea? Sitting with things and asking really works. And I had a friend years ago give me such a wise piece of advice. I was torn. I don't remember what it was. I was torn between two things. And he said, well, flip a coin. And I said, well, that's not scientific. I said, that's ridiculous. Why would I flip a coin? He said, you flip the coin, and how you react to what won, that's how you know what to do. If you flip the coin and it comes up no, and you go, oh, man, you should say yes. And I thought, what a great idea, because it kind of forces you to have that gut feeling. You know what your reaction is when the coin flip happens. So I thought that was kind of an interesting method. I've used it.
And does it work for you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's sort of deciding factor, isn't it? I suppose it just brings out your real feelings on something there. So that's good.
It does.
Kathy, life is made of constant change, whether we like it or not. And some would say the only constant is change. How do you try to keep up with change?
Oh, yeah, I'm not super with change because I love to be in control, and change is out of our control. So what I've learned, and this is from all the stress work I've done and the lectures I've given, and, we can't control certain things. We definitely can't control change. We can't control any of those outside things. So controlling our reaction to it, that's really all we have. Because if we try to change things that can't be changed or try to stop things that are changing, we're going to drive ourselves crazy. So I've really just sort of learned to go with the flow on things. It's still a learning process for me. The meditation has really helped. Learning to pause and respond rather than react is really important. We have these knee-jerk reactions of, oh, this is awful. It's like, well, hang on a second. Think about it. Is it awful? How can you make this not awful? Will it be awful? We don't know. There's a massage chain that has opened up all over the States, and they offer incredibly discounted massage. They have a huge staff, so you can call day or night, and there's someone there to massage you for half the price of what I charge. And when they first moved into my town, I kind of freaked out a bit. I had this panic of, I can't compete with that, and I can't charge that amount, and I'm going to lose all my business, and I'm going to be out of work, and it just spiraled. And my husband finally said, Kathy, the people that are going there are not your clients. It's not going to impact your business. And it really hasn't. But my first reaction to that change in the environment was really scary to me. And I had to just step back and say, okay, take a minute. Let's see what happens. And in reality, it didn't affect my practice at all. In fact, they've injured enough people who now come to me and I get to fix them. So it actually kind of ended up being a benefit. So, sometimes things that we think are going to be scary and bad don't turn out that way. So staying in the present moment is very helpful.
Okay. And what is your favorite book on entrepreneurialism, business, personal development, leadership, or motivation? And can you tell us why you have chosen it?
Yeah, I really like Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I've flipped through it. I've read various parts at various times. I don't read a lot of business books. I'm reading a lot of medical books, which I find fun, because I'm that person. Yeah. But I like Think and Grow Rich because it really expresses the fact that we do have the power to make that success. We do have the power to make that change. It's that mindset. It's that visualization. It's the affirmations. It's going into something positive and saying, I'm going to make this happen. So I really appreciate that philosophy. And, there's so many books like that. And then something I found recently is Brendan Burchard has a whole program on, business and marketing yourself. And I've done a couple of his workshops and classes, through DVDs and audio programs and things like that. And he's got some really great ideas. His philosophy isn't for everybody, but I've learned a lot of really good techniques from him. So yeah, there's so many great resources out there. Yeah. Reading and learning from other people really is key to success, I think.
Okay. Yeah, Brendan Burchard does some great stuff, doesn't he? I've watched his stuff. Everyone, when you have a busy life, listening to audiobooks is a great way to expand your knowledge in the time when you may be doing other things, such as driving or when you are at the gym. We have a special offer for you of a free audiobook of your choosing. To choose your free audiobook, go to www.freeaudiobookoffer.com. As long as you haven't already signed up, then you will qualify. Kathy, what I'd like to do now is just speculate with you about a few things in the future. So what one thing would you do with your business if you knew that you could not fail?
I think I would expand it into a healing center and actually bring in other practitioners, get a much bigger space, and really make it a place where people could come and spend a couple hours and have multiple treatments. Right now, it's me in a little office just doing massage and hypnotherapy, and I'd love to expand it into a whole healing center. Mm-hmm.
And what skill, if you were excellent at it, would help you the most to double your business?
Oh, I think I need 2 more hands. That's tough because it is the disadvantage of my business is I can only see one client at a time. Yep. So I think if I could clone myself and see multiple people at the same time, I think that would be really the only thing that would help me. Mm-hmm. Having the time to expand into more like group workshops and things like that, I think would be great.
Mm-hmm. And in 5 years from now, if a well-known business publication was publishing an article on your business after talking to your customers and suppliers, what would you like it to say?
The perfect combination of healing and business.
Okay. We're now at the part of the show where you share 3 golden nuggets with us. So, Kathy, what is your favourite quote and how have you applied it?
Yeah, my favorite quote is "Go for it." That has been my tagline since high school. Yeah. And with everything from the trapeze to starting a practice and writing the books and getting a PhD, and to me, you just have to go for it. You have to step off your fear and you have to reach for what you want. That's the only way to live, to me.
And do you have any favorite online resources that you could share with us?
Oh, I don't do a lot of business stuff online. There's some schedulers that I think are really important. Mm-hmm. And because I do so many radio shows, even something as simple as Google Calendar, all my radio shows get funneled into that. And it reminds me, anything that reminds you it's time to do something, to me, is one of the best things. And, I love Wikipedia. That's got me through a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Not that creative of online resources, but, they're the basics. We've got to have the basics.
Yeah, that's good. And what is your best advice to other entrepreneurs?
Let the fear go. It's pretty rare that you're going to try something new where there's not going to be a hesitation. There's not going to be that, you just have to to go back to go for it. You just have to do it. Write stuff down, break it into doable steps, and really just live your dreams. Because to me, there is no failing. There's just learning from stuff. So even if you try something and it doesn't work out the way you think it's supposed to, it's leading you to something else and you're gaining knowledge and information from that. And sometimes it's just for the pleasure of helping someone else later. There's been things I've failed at, or I've had an injury, or have not worked for me, that I've now been able to impart on other people to help them with their journey. So to me, there's no failing. You do it, and if it doesn't work out the way you think it should, you're still learning something. You're still gaining knowledge from that.
That's a superb mindset. Everyone, if you didn't manage to get a note of Kathy's favourite resource or her favourite book, you can find the links on Kathy's show notes page. Just go to theentrepreneur.way.com and search for Kathy or Kathy Gruver in the search box. Kathy, is there anything else that you'd like to add about your business?
You have to do something you enjoy, and I'm really happy that I get to wake up every day and I love what I do. There are days where I'm tired, and there are days even where I go, oh, geez, I can't do this anymore. we all have that. That's natural. So one is don't beat yourself up for having that kind of day. And just really trying to live in the joy of what you're doing, focusing on the positive things and knowing that you always have the ability to make a different choice. You always have the ability to take a different path, and just following that, just following that intuition, listening to that gut and going for what you want.
Okay. Kathy, it's been an absolute honor having you on here. You really have given us some great thoughts and an insight into your mindset, and you've inspired us all. So thank you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Neil. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Entrepreneur Way. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Twitter @Neil D. Ball.